As I sit down to share these stories from the internet's most relatable corner, I'm excited to dive into the real-life struggles and triumphs of people just like you. From messy breakups to heartwarming makeups, get ready for a peek into the roller coaster ride that is human relationship. My 22 female boyfriend, 27 male, is just so childish and rubbed moldy meat juices all over my face. So my boyfriend and I have been living together for over a year now. We own 3 beautiful outdoor rabbits together. He's allergic to animals, but I'm a huge animal lover. Some days he can be so cuddly and nice. 60% of the time, however, I feel like he becomes too childish. We do play fight a lot of the time, and I think he forgets how much stronger he is than me. It can really hurt me sometimes. Out of the blue, he will randomly slap my face, a few times resulting in a nosebleed. I have an issue with my birth control at the moment which causes me to bleed excessively. So after a nosebleed, I feel horribly lightheaded and sick. He knows this. We have had to implement a no-hitting rule. Yesterday he was in a really annoying childish mood and I got really annoyed. He was constantly poking and prodding me, and I left the room. He then took the opportunity to put my phone in the spare freezer. His dad left a freezer in our house that my partner turned off unaware that there was a 3-year-old ham joint in it. I'm refusing to sort it, and said him and his dad will have to sort it. I'm telling you now, the smell is absolutely vile. I knew he put it in there as I smelled the freezer door open. I refused to get my phone out. Half an hour later, he decided that he wanted us to go to the shop. So, he told me to go get my phone from the freezer which has my bank card in. Being pissed off and not wanting to fuel his childish behavior, I ignored him. He got frustrated that I wasn't playing his game, so his response was to take my phone out of the freezer, slam me against the house door, and rub my phone with all the moldy meat juices all over my face. Understandably, I started crying and immediately ran upstairs to clean up. He followed me laughing. I felt disgusting and just felt that there was no respect between us. He was then extremely pissed off because I refused to touch my phone until he cleaned it, so we couldn't go to the shop. He said I was boring when I sulked about these things. A few hours later, I was sat on the floor on my laptop as he was sprawled across the whole sofa shouting and screaming at FIFA. I know not to interfere with his game or to walk in front of the TV, or he has a meltdown. He regularly throws and hits things including my table, which I have told him not to hit as Hez put a small crack in it. He eventually got so pissed off that he threw a packet of M&Ms, which exploded all over the living room, which he got even more pissed off about because he wanted to eat them. He then asked me to go get the Hoover. I said no, because I know that it would be me cleaning it up. I always clean up after him. I admit I have ADHD, so I'm not perfect and forget to do things. But I like a tidy house. I'm forever scraping uneaten food in the bin that he's left in the living room, binning empty bottles and tissues from down the sides of the sofa. I eventually cave in and get the Hoover. He does actually hoover up himself, but then he turned the Hoover off and does the last thing that finally pushed me over the edge. He leaves the Hoover in the middle of the room and sits down. I asked him if he was going to put it away. He replied saying that it will be me who puts it away. I then gave him a stern look and told him that he will put the Hoover away, please. He replied with, well, you got it out so you can put it away. Usually I would, but today I was just so annoyed with him and refused to back down. Remember the no-hitting rule? Yay. That didn't last long. I admit I'm wrong for this, but I grabbed him and pinned him down, tickling his ribs. I asked him again to put the Hoover away. His response was to launch me up, grab my head and whack it against the wall. So I kinda punched him in the gut. I refused to be one of those who sits there, getting slapped and punched. He said he's done with the fighting now that I was winning, so I leave him alone. So I ask again nicer this time to please put the Hoover away. He then said that it's a woman's job, and not in his job description. My emotions overwhelmed me, and I started crying and spilling out how it makes me feel when he does crap like this, and I'm not his damn maid. I said I didn't understand why it has to be a fight to get him to do anything. He got angry and told me to go upstairs to cry because he doesn't care anymore. I don't want to leave him, but then I do. I don't know what to do. If I go rent my own place, I'm afraid that I'm going to really struggle with money. And I don't want to leave my rabbits, as I feel like he won't clean them out daily. I just feel like we should live separately until he gets his act together. What would be the best option for this? And now for the next story. My wife, 40 female, cheated, and I, 45 male, have trouble leaving. 6 years ago, I discovered that my wife, 40 female, was unfaithful, and it deeply affected me, 45 male. Despite the betrayal, I chose to stay for the sake of our child, who was still very young. We've tried everything from couples counseling to therapy, hoping to rekindle what was lost, but nothing has worked. Now, she feels more like a roommate and a good mother to our kids, rather than a romantic partner. I see her as a friend, rather than the woman I once loved. We have been together for close to 18 years. I want to leave the relationship, but I wish for our son to graduate first, to minimize any impact on him. Attempts to talk to her about my feelings are often brushed aside, leaving me frustrated. Last year I resolved to leave, but faced a career setback and the loss of my best friend, which delayed things further. It seems that whenever I muster the courage to go, life throws something else in my path, and I end up hesitating. My biggest concern is how to leave without negatively affecting my child. I want to make this transition as smooth and as minimally disruptive as possible for him. How can I achieve this while ensuring both his well-being and my own peace of mind? Too long, didn't read my wife, 40 female, cheated, and I, 45 male, want to leave, but can't. Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. Mate, there is never a perfect time to do it. Haven't you suffered enough? Do it now. Your child will be fine. Figure a good co-parenting plan and stick to it. You deserve some happiness. Stop torturing yourself. As a child of divorced parents, just leave now. You're not doing anyone any favors by staying in a loveless marriage. You're setting a bad example for your son because your relationship problems will shine through. He'll grow up thinking a marriage should be loveless, have no romance, have no intimacy, etc. Also, if you go through with this now, he'll have more time to adjust and process before he reaches peak dating age. But also, you're not doing yourself or your wife any favors. None of you are as happy as you could be. You're all living a half-life. Just move on. Fellow child of divorced parents. Couldn't agree more. Please don't teach your kids, this is what a marriage is, and this is all you should expect in life. Also, they know you're unhappy. You're not doing them favors at all here. There's 8 billion people, babe. It's okay if it doesn't work out with one person. Especially if that one person disrespects you on the ultimate level. You're hurting your son more by forcing him to live in that type of household. Your son thinks that's normal and how relationships should be. And now for the next story. My BF, 23 male, and I, 22 female, have a dead sex life. How do we fix it? We've been dating for a little over 3 years now, and compared to how we were during the first year of our relationship, our sex life is practically dead. I've brought up this conversation with him many times, too many to count. Sometimes he agrees with me and other times he gets defensive and claims that nothing's changed. Thing is, we used to be all over each other. He could never get enough of me. No matter where he was or what he was doing, what he was going through, he always wanted me. Now that's practically gone. I feel like our relationship has become more of a friendship than anything. Don't get me wrong, I love that we are each other's best friend. But I am so worried that we'd gotten so comfortable to the point where he doesn't really find me exciting anymore. Or that he doesn't see me in that way anymore. Maybe I've shown him too much of me, and now the mystery's gone. I don't know, I'm not sure what to do. Like I've said, I did talk to him about it many times, and it's never gotten resolved. And now I feel like the conversation has gotten annoying to him. What can I do to fix this? And now for the next story. My M27 husband slapped me, F25, 7 times. This was the 3rd time he hurt me physically. Do I move past this? Let me start by saying that prior to it getting ugly, I compared him to my ex because he lied to me in a situation involving adding a girl on Instagram and hiding it from me. He did that just because I would make a big fuss and argue about it. My mistake was that I compared him and judged his character even though he had previously made it clear the girl wasn't even her friend prior to our marriage, let alone anything more than that. He was tired from work and sleeping. I, on the other hand, wasn't able to sleep and cried. He woke up to console me, and somehow the topic rose again. He slapped me 7 times for that, and for threatening him to slap me again. Honestly, IDK. Did I deserve it? How do I move past this? He has asked for forgiveness, and he is very, very loving. All I want to know is, would it happen again? The violence. I don't want to leave him. Am I weak for forgiving him and letting it go? I am so helpless I don't have anyone to talk to. Please help. Do any? Even 1% of such people change. Just one PF you say, yes. That's all I need to hear. Edit. T-post. Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. No, you don't move past someone hitting you. Call the police. Abuse only escalates. Next time it will be worse. I used to work with an older woman who had worked in domestic violence shelters for a long time. There are a lot of people who are tempted to go back to their abusers in that situation. She would always listen to what they had to say, like this lady. A lot of times they would question if they deserved it. When it came to asking what was next and what they should do, she would ask something like, do you like silver or bronze more? And what kind of flowers do you think would go with that color casket? Just getting deep into the specifics of planning a funeral. Not caught up in the current crisis, but what happens if you stay? Reframing it like that apparently helped a lot of women stay away from their abusers. That's exactly the issue. Women often think they deserve the abuse. It doesn't matter what other people tell them or what their spouse does. Until they believe they don't deserve it, in their head they think they deserve it. At least she's asking the question. Did I deserve this? Do you hear yourself? These are the famous last words of many a dead woman. 1. Yes, you can move past this. By moving out. Now. Get a restraining tomorrow. Or today, depending on what country you are in. Is there a county courthouse near where you live? Go ASAP and see if and when you can get on the docket. Judges are very happy to issue a temporary restraining order. This may save your life. Then he will know that he can't hurt you without the cops getting involved. I literally said that in my head as I read the title. This. Like and subscribe for more awesome daily Reddit content. And don't forget to hit the bell to get notified when I upload new videos.